Now with 8% moisture, then I believe we are at the limit of what's possible to achieve, because the humidity, it's the local climate conditions. When do you have corn crops? At what time of the year? When do you harvest?
It's in September.
In September?
Yes.
Okay, but that means we are at a time with... Yes. 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 But that means we have a relatively high humidity.
Yes, humidity high and moisture level also high in the
Yes.
product.
Mm.
The compound.
How much?
Humidity is normally 80-85%.
Okay.
Is there impact of humidity on the quality of biomass as well?
Yeah, humidity has a huge impact, because when you burn the biomass, you need to use energy to evaporate the water. That means that the calorific value comes down, but not the higher calorific value, but the lower useful calorific value becomes less. The fuel, that's possible, but it costs a lot of money, and you need energy. So you have to burn some of your biomass fuel to dry the biomass fuel. Tomorrow we take a look. I have a calculation for the cost, both energy cost, investment cost, and operation cost for drying of biomass fuel.
Can we use exhaust gases to dry the fuels?
It's possible, but if you look at the energy content in the in the flue gas, we want to have very efficient boiler. We talk about maybe 180 centigrade. Then there's not much energy left, but it is possible to do it.
What would the ideal temperature in the blast if we throw out? It's 120 degrees centigrade or 140, but
it depends on your biomass. If you have a lot of sulfur, then you should try to be above the dew point for sulfuric acid. And I'm normally using a figure of 153, 155 centigrade as the dew point for sulfuric acid. It depends on
type of fuel we are.
yes, and it also depends on the concentration, how much oxygen and things like this you have in the gas. But I try to keep the temperature, flue gas temperature, about 180 as my design. Then it can come down, it can come up. If you have, if you just clean your boiler, then it might come down to
4 degrees Celsius temperature by RPF steam. And how much the temperature we should exit from the boiler if producing 10 bars pressure steam?
Yes, I have. There will be. I have a spreadsheet on this. This here is a system with a step grade, and this is working with moist biomass fuel. And at the flue gas outlet, we talk about 230 centigrades after the cyclone. The cyclone should not eat that much, and 230 centigrade is not very efficient. So putting up an economizer, but here using the water cooled for preheating of combustion air, if we take a look here, the economizer is 5.4% of the boiler output.
It raises.
Yes.
Excuse me, the dew point of the flue gases depends on the sulfur content of the flue gases.
No, different vapors have got different dew points. Hydrochloric acid has got a dew point, sulfuric acid has got a dew point, water has got a dew point. I think there's some chemical engineers among us. They might.
These are different.
The different types. Hydrochloric acid is having a higher dew point than sulfuric acid.
See, generally the literature of hydrochloric acid and other acids just mentioned sulfur or sulfuric acid.
Yes.
In that case, it would depend on, like our natural gas, which has a few ppm.
I think the dew point for sulfuric acid, it's also a question of the concentration.
Yes.
If the concentration is
Very low.
Yes.
You are burning a very low sulfur fuel.
Yes.
Then your dew point would be quite low.
Hmm.
And what should be the minimum?
Approach to
What should be the minimum approach?
if I heat transfer surface of the economizer, because if you at the boiler outlet you are already at say 180, then you cannot capture much in the economizer, and then I would say it would be waste of money. It's always a balance. If you, I have been working a little bit on a huge big factory making glass in Thailand, and they have a flue gas temperature outside the kiln at I think 560 centigrade. And what they're doing, then they take the flue gas and then they mix ambient air into the flue gas before it goes to the stack. And I said, are you aware of how much energy you're wasting? And they said, we have to do it like this. I said, why don't you put up a heat recovery boiler and make use of it for what? Yeah, you could put up absorption cooling. And then you could put up a district cooling network to the whole industrial estate where you could cool down processes and buildings. And then they said, don't you come and jeopardize our glass manufacturing system. I said, bye-bye.
Well, in my opinion, the gas by the organ.
Yes, yes, for sure. A simple solution. I've never interfered in a process without making it more efficient and more better control. I was making a project at a sawmill in Lithuania where they had some very old Russian dryers, drying kilns to dry the wood. And when I suggested not to use steam but just hot water, they said you cannot dry wood with hot water. And what is the temperature inside the kiln? Yeah, it's about 80 to 85 centigrade. And say, do you believe you need steam to get 85 degrees Celsius? Well, no, but, and then afterwards, we put up hot water operated drying kilns. They saved a lot of energy. We had a much better control of the drying process, so the waste from the whole process was reduced from 10% of the wood cracked during the drying process. Now it was 2%. So saving money on energy, having a shorter drying time, and having less wasted material. This is how things should be when you start to focus on the process. You make it better, like investigate what's happening. Like here, we have the combustion, we load so much fuel, we're moving in the combustion chamber with water preheated from the combustion, steam boiler, economizer, and then you investigate things and then you optimize it all the way through, and then you make energy efficiency. If the fuel is free of cost, or if it's just piling up outside the rice mill and they don't know what to do with it, then you just burn it to get rid of it. But suddenly it starts to have a price, and then you can afford to look into the details, start to make use of it.
Can we use the Pakistani board which is having 7 to 8% sulfur in the grade system, grade wise?
Yes, because it's
So the very low ash branding.
yes, the
7 to 8% sulfur in the.
it's high sulfur is not a problem until you come out in the ambient. When you come to the chimney, then it's a problem. But then you could put up a wet scrubber. But then, of course, you have to handle the water. You could also use inject calcium carbonate, and then you could make gypsum.
And the chimneys can also be made out of the steel which is corrosion resistant, like cotton steel.
Yes, and when I've been working with high sulfur content, then I'm normally using 316 stainless steel. Yeah, I know it costs a fortune,
Yeah.
but it's cheaper to do it one time
Yeah.
than to change it every
Yeah,
3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So why we don't use fluidized bread boiler if we can use the local coal 7 to 8% sulfur in the grade system?
Previously, a fluidized bed was for fluidized bed system, but now they're coming with a fluidized bed already at below 30 tons steam per hour. Fluidized bed gives a very high efficient temperature if it's preheated. Then you can send in more air in the first part to evaporate some of the moisture.
So normally when we use the gas, we have 50 to 200 to 20 degrees.
Yeah, yes.
Remove the moisture.
Should be what's happening when we have combustion? You release energy, and hydrogen and water, higher calorific value, lower calorific value, kilocalories per kilogram, theoretical air demand, kilogram air per kilogram fuel, or normal cubic meter air per normal cubic meter of fuel. Here are the figures you can use. Then, when you talk about normal cubic meter and actual cubic meter, then you have to calculate the difference, because your flue gas system is not working with normal cubic meters. It's pretty much more than a normal cubic meter. So working with velocity, gas velocity, that's quite important when you have your design. Then you have to calculate, and here's the formula. You see density of air and air demand. Theoretical demand in kilogram, that means kilogram air per kilogram fuel. It's called LO, that's the German. Here's the formula, how you can calculate the need. 830 times the carbon content plus 8 times the hydrogen minus oxygen plus sulfur. And